All right, guys. So let me know if you could see my screen. Let me know if you could hear me. Are we live? Let's
I think
see.
we are.
Oh yeah, you got myself and Dan Anton's on today.
Hey everyone. Always good to be on here.
Yep. My assistant was not able to make it. I gave him the week off to go to Disneyland or Disney World, so Gregory won't be on right now. So, all right, hold on one second. Yeah, that's it. All right, so good deal. Well, we got on a pretty action-packed webinar for tonight. Um, as you know, we're going to be talking about systems, and we kind of got this blurry mind map here. We're kind of going to be showing you what's going on with that and building a system live. Can't see the screen; it's blurry. That's right, and all things will be made clear shortly as we'll show you a clear version of that map. We're actually going to be building it out. So before we get into that, I want to do some Q&A. Want to do some hot seats so we can let everybody kind of pile on here. So if you guys have any questions, just put them in the question box, or if you want to come on a hot seat, let me know. Now, there was a question someone had. They were messaging me, and I was going back and forth in the Facebook group. I have to remember what it was. It was on YouTube videos. And if I understood what he was what he was talking about, let me see if I can. Who knows? I don't even know if I could even find that post
Hey
in
Joe,
here.
real quick, can you give me ability to view the questions? I can't see them.
Oh, you're not an organizer? Here, let me make you an organizer. All right. All right, Dan, you should be an organizer now. I don't even know
Yep,
what that
good to
is.
go. Thanks.
All right, so I don't even know where where the heck that was, or even how to find it. So let me. Oh, I gotta get back to the other group now. Hold on one second. Anyway, so the gist of it was I think he had a video that he got. It was one that Stephen Floyd made up, gave to everybody, and he was trying to rank it multiple times by like changing the title and the description. And that's not really going to work. I mean, it might work a little bit, but eventually you're going to get spammed if you try to upload a video that other people have uploaded and tried to rank. It's just not something that's, that you're going to get away with over time. So inside I think David renamed it it's called Video Mastery now inside OMG. I actually have a section in there that shows how to expand that video. So say if you had a video that you wanted to maybe upload multiple times, what you may do is change the music track on it, maybe put a different intro and a different outro, right? So you kind of change it up. You kind of could keep the middle the same. Or what you could do even with like Steven's video, and I don't know if he would approve this or not, but you could take his video, you could transcribe it, and you could read it yourself, the transcription. You could have someone else read it, and then put that audio track against that video, and now you have a totally unique video. You have to think about a way that you can make that video unique so that you can upload it. And so I think a little bit this gentleman was not getting it, or telling me that you can do it, or he's done it before, or look, you could do whatever you want. You could take 3 videos, change the title and description, and upload that exact video to your channel, and maybe you can get away with it. But I tell you what, you do that enough times, eventually it's going to get
It'll get flagged.
deleted. Yeah, it's going to get flagged. That's just the way it is. I wish I could remember the exact what was going on with that in that thread, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But if anyone has messaged me, let me know in the question box, because what I try to do is if you guys have a question you're not going to be on, I try to address it if I can. So, me just do this. I'm actually going to try to pull it up on a screen here. So let me see what kind of tool are you using for a mind map. I'll show you guys all that in a little bit about the mind map stuff when we go into it. Basically, you can use just Google free mind map, and there's a ton of stuff in there on mind mapping. Okay. All right. Here's the question. I found it right here. Okay. He says, YouTube gurus, I need some advice. I have a channel that I use with about 80 videos to see if I could get them to rank for local terms. And I got about 35 first page Google rankings. Then I built out a channel the exact way Joseph was wrong. The way I shows in the training, and upload 3 videos through Wirecast, all within about 45 minutes to create a playlist. And the first day the playlist ranks since then, been around 7 days. Do not rank in YouTube. Okay, so basically, look, so he's wondering if maybe the way that he created the YouTube channel, the way I showed to make that channel is the correct way to make it. It's not going to affect how your video rank. It's not like if you follow how to properly set up a YouTube channel, all of a sudden your videos aren't going to rank anymore. If the videos aren't ranking, there's other reasons. And as I was asking him questions, he was ranking up multiple videos that were the same. Now, you did it on a different channel and it worked. For some reason, it's not working. So you got to figure out why it's not working, and you got to change it. And remember, sometimes you rank a video and it'll pop on page 1 or it'll pop on the top of YouTube, and then it'll drop for a few weeks, and then it'll come back up. So when you first put in a video, they move around a lot, so you have to know that. So if it's ranking, then it falls. Don't think you did something wrong or I messed something up. It takes time. The best way that I could say about ranking videos or anything, it's not like it's like do A, B, and C and you're always going to get this result. It's like, if you go to the gym and I want to lose weight and you want to lose weight and we both weigh the same and we both do the same exercise, are we both going to come out in a month weighing exactly the same and being in the exact same shape? No, we're not. There's a lot of different factors involved. It's the same thing with ranking. Like, you can use things as a guide, but there's a lot of outside forces that if something goes wrong or something's not working, then you got to figure it out. If your video was ranking and then it dropped, are you over optimized? Is your title, are you over optimized on your title description? If you're doing something with a playlist, I don't know much about the playlists, but I would just keep, if that happened, I just keep embedding my video, linking to my video, sending traffic to it. I just keep doing the same thing, and almost every single time it eventually comes back up. It's just the way it is. And a lot depends on the keywords and everything else. So that's that one. And 2 guys, while we're on it, let me just show you guys what we did here. So this is where the videos are that I made a bunch of for ranking and creating YouTube videos, and it has everything here from video creation, creating videos, outsourcing it, where to buy videos for from Fiverr, all that stuff is under here. Setting up your YouTube, and then I just did this off-page SEO that goes through everything you need. It's basically just a system of traffic, social shares, embed links, and you rinse and repeat. So there's some new videos on that in here that you guys could check out. And then we just put these videos in on how to get content, like for your Web 2.0s, PBNs, and everything else. So you guys could go ahead and take a look at that. So, all right. So hopefully that clears up that question, if anyone had a question on it. If anyone has a question on videos or what I just said is confusing, just let me know. All right, let's see. Okay, so someone's asking, would you do the same method if you want to rank Vimeo? Anything different for videos, no, I would just follow the same thing that I show you in ranking videos for YouTube. It's really the same as in Vimeo. Client site has a page that has a link to itself in the content. That's pretty sketchy. No, Dusty, I think it depends on where that is. Is the link, a lot of times you want to have interlinks. So that's actually something that you want. If you look at Wikipedia, it's has all kinds of links that link to itself. So it's actually good to have links, to other pages on your site. If I was understanding the questions. Well, it looks like a keyword anchor. Oh, to the same page that you're on. Yeah, I probably would get rid of that. I mean, I wouldn't do that. We used to do that years ago, but nobody does that anymore. Let's see. What research do you do to prepare for a meeting with a potential new client? This seems to take me a large amount of time. Dan, do you meet with any clients? I know you have like a client consulting.
Yeah, I don't personally, but I know my brother, the way he does it is, he doesn't meet with them in person, it's really hard to scale that way. But if you're starting out, I guess you kind of have to. But what he does is, pretty much vets all the inbound leads, or however the leads come with the discovery form, basically tells them, if you don't do that, I can't talk to you. Once he gets that, he gives each one of them a video proposal. And that's been systemized to the point where it's pretty dialed in and it works out pretty well. So the research is really just looking at the guy's website and analyzing it on the spot during that video process that he does or one of our reps does. How long that takes him, at first I'm sure it took a long time, but now it's gotten to the point where he can pump these out pretty quickly because he knows exactly what he's looking for. Different on-page issues, different off-page issues that he sees, and then puts it all into about a 30-minute video proposal for each client and has a pretty high close rate. But that's going to be a learning process for people just starting out who don't have many clients, just trying to figure out what does that proposal look like, because you don't want it to just be a run-on of nonsense in an hour-long video, which isn't even going to close the client. So it's got to be very succinct, and your prep work really is just, it's not that important that you really understand the history of the business. It's not like you're applying to a university, right? You're not going to get quizzed on their alma mater, but you need to be able to identify ways that that client can improve, show them their competition, try to show them why their competition is better than them, but how they can overcome that. So that's what your prep work is right there. It's identifying the opportunities. It's doing basically a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Just in terms of SEO, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing I did when I would do client. When I had clients, and I know Cotton has stuff in there on prepping for clients. I think Steven in his new module might have some stuff. And again, when we talk a little bit more about systems, this is something definitely that you could systemize. Like Dan said, at first it takes a while, but then once you do a bunch, right, you get faster. Once you figure out what you're looking for, what you need. And I know when I first started, I would take it. I hated it, right? Like it would take me 2 days to prepare. And then I got down to where I had a list of questions that when I first got with a client, I did like an interview with them, and I would ask him these questions, and the questions were designed to get the information I need about him, but they were also to let the client know stuff he was missing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I don't have that. Oh, what do you mean? I need that? What? So, and then I would take that, and I would do like with Dan, I would just compile a very direct video that showed him what he was missing out on, where his competition was beating him out, and where we could put him. And I would show him examples of where we put other people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. I think I'd give him an A and B plan, and usually they would just. Then my next meeting to close them, it was either if there was a meeting, then they were going to buy. or else they weren't going to buy. Then I wouldn't even have a follow-up meeting. So the follow-up meeting was pretty easy. If that makes sense. So, all right. Dusty says you're the man, Dan.
Thank you.
All right. So, Sean says, Dan, this question is for you. Hey guys, this question is maybe more for Dan. I created some videos that are targeting some particular keywords. I then input the YouTube URL into crowdsearch.me. Have you found doing that has helped your videos to rank higher in time?
Well, yes. I mean, that's kind of the point of it. Right? Yeah, definitely. Now, I'll say in addition to that, what you'd want to do is probably get some embeds, right? And then ideally run traffic to those embeds and play the embed directly on there. So if you have some good PBNs or even Web 2.0s, instead of just running traffic directly to that YouTube URL, you can mix it up, run the traffic to some of these embedded blogs that you may have. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Someone said no sound. Okay. So I would just do a mix of it. But I mean, that's essentially what the purpose of entering your YouTube URL would be in CrowdSearch. Just make sure you're entering your the full URL, not the shortened version.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Hey, Dan, so someone says we're the coolest guys on the internet.
Wow.
We probably got that because Gregory's not here.
Yeah, probably. Who said that?
What's that?
Okay. No, I was wondering who said that.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Sean's asking again, are the embeds in the YouTube description? No, the embeds are what's on a site, like when you embed video in a PBN or a site, is what it is.
Yeah, and Steven's asking, how likely is it that you can stop using CrowdSearch once the video is ranked? Well, I mean, once anything really is in the top 3 spots, it's going to get a ton of just regular traffic and user metrics from other people who are actually searching and trying to find listings. So hopefully that if your site is actually providing some kind of value, that you can maintain good metrics without CrowdSearch once you get in those positions and hold it. So I mean, yeah, that's perfectly within the norm of what could possibly happen.
Yeah, all right. And then Ben's asking, on the new videos, I did some videos on RankWiz, which is a coupon code that it's OMG to get a discount. I think David was going to post it on there. But he says he uses FCS. Is there a reason? It doesn't matter. They're both basically the same. I use RankWiz because it has a little better on the submission side. The one thing you want to make sure with any of these tools, though, is that the Web 2.0s that they're posting to have authority, because RankWiz just updated their account creator, and some of the accounts that it's creating are not very high in trust flow or domain authority. So you wouldn't really want to put those on like a tier 2 or anything. So you want to make sure that the accounts you create and use have high page authority. That's huge. So, you agree, Dan?
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I know if you had something on that, but because I know like many people ask me why did I take the Money Robot training out of, which in Money Robot's a software that posts to Web 2.0s. Why do you take that out of OMG? Because I had it in there. As I took that out because they were having problems posting to WordPress, Rebel Mouse, like the good authority blogs. So what they did is they brought in all these crappy blogs, and then when you run a campaign through, and I see people selling these campaigns on Source Market, we'll embed your video on 1,000 or 2,000 blogs, but those blogs are utter crap, and so that's not where you want your video embedded on or your links on. You want them on high authority sites. So you just got to be careful of that when you do anything with Web 2.0s or Web 2.0 creations. You want them to be niche specific, but you also want them to have authority. That's the whole point of them, or else you can just it's spammy.
You're just wasting your time.
Yeah. So just so I understand concerning Stephen Floyd's video, are you saying we should make it unique before we upload to YouTube? Yeah. So he's asking on those videos that Stephen gave out. Should you can do whatever you want, but just think about this. Those videos are great to have on your website, right? Like you put it on your webpage, fantastic video. I don't know what he designed it for it, but if you put it on your website, those are great videos. If you want to send it to a client, great video. If you want to rank it, you're ranking a video that other people are trying. If you're all trying to rank the same video, eventually it can get flagged. It happens all the time. This is a fact. This isn't an opinion. So if you want to rank that video, then you have to change it up. Or what you can do is you can take that video, and like I said, you can get a script from it. You can have someone on Fiverr change it a little bit. It's very cheap ways. Like he gave you a great foundation and a great base, and there's a lot of different ways you can do to kind of make it so it's semi-unique so you can rank it, right? You just got to get on Fiverr and find a gig or something. Okay, so cool deal. Let me see. There's another question here. Someone's asking about videos and annotations. Here's the thing with annotations on a YouTube video. I think they don't show up on any Apple product like iPads or iPhones. The annotations, and so they're basically showing up on when people watch the video on YouTube. Is what I'm finding out. And if you see any questions on here, Dan, just
I'm kind of just like answer them in the chat box every once in a while when I see them.
If you see any good ones, you can just shout them out.
Okay. Yeah, someone's asking if you can just take people's YouTube videos. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that he was just talking about with Steven's videos. Just look at that as any other public video, essentially, because multiple people have it and are using it. So if you want to use it, you're going to have to mix it up. Different audio, maybe some intros and outros, different, just to make it as unique as possible compared to the other 500 people using the same video.
Right. Yeah, and this is for... Oh, go ahead, Dan.
I was just saying, if the original person of that YouTube video finds out that you've used it, you could get flagged, even if you do make it your own in some small way. If the majority of that video is their property, you could get flagged. So just know that there is that inherent risk in doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing is I'm just telling you this for ranking purposes. If you want to take that, I think those videos he made are excellent. They're excellent videos. If you take it and you upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever, and make it and unlist it and then embed it on your website, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to change it at all. It's only if you want to rank it is the only way I'm saying change it up a little bit. And again, I saw on the Facebook page, like what Dan was saying, a guy was saying, listen, I downloaded somebody's video and I started ranking it, right? So here's the thing, if you're doing it like we showed you tube heisting, where say it's a roofer, you find his video, you rip it or you download it and you upload it on your channel, you rank it and you contact him, that's one thing, okay? That you probably get away with that without any problems. But if you're taking somebody's video, putting it on your channel, and making believe it's your own, then you're going to get flagged because you're basically copyright infringement or stealing that guy's work. Like, I have affiliate sites and videos where people did that. Like, I would show those panic attack videos, and sure enough, people would download those videos, upload them to their site, and then try to rank them. And then I would get their channel flagged because, you gotta at least create your own stuff. I mean, if you want to copy someone's video, like I said, have it transcribed and then just have someone recreate it. You don't want to take other people's stuff.
Yeah, it's like when you were in school, you couldn't just plagiarize the entire book report. You had to paraphrase it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, on the flip side, if you want to embed somebody's video on your website, you can embed anybody's video on your website because you're not downloading it. It's still on their channel. It's actually still hosted on YouTube. In YouTube, can you still edit the Google script? Or, yeah, you can, the closed caption. You can. Could embedding YouTube videos on your own PBNs or Web 2.0s cause a footprint? I mean, and not any more than putting a link on there. So, I mean, that's what your PBNs are for. So you just got to be careful about it.
Yeah, I would say it's probably even better. It's probably less of a footprint than a link would be.
Yeah. So it's just an embed. So you just, like with any of this stuff, you just got to look at it and see if it looks natural. Yes, this is being recorded. And then, so Rank Wiz, if you watch those videos, you'll see there's like a place where you can put a coupon code. So it's not a special link. You just put in OMG as a coupon code. All right, so maybe we should do some hot seats.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to do too. Like last week, you guys all sent me your goals, which I have them all, and I'm going to have another webinar where I'm going to kind of go through them a little bit. So I want to just thank everyone who sent me their goals, and I hope that you guys are sticking to the goals and are have a plan and you're sticking to it. So just a follow-up, I want to do a hot seat tonight, but if anyone here is I'd like to do a hot seat kind of on what we were talking about the last few weeks about getting organized, about maybe getting some time blocks, kind of getting things situated.
A couple people had messaged me saying they were doing that Evernote time block or thing with the 30 minutes synced in with Brain.fm, so I thought that was pretty cool that people are actually using it.
Yeah, exactly. So so that's great. Yeah, that's good. So well, at least people were listening, huh? That's nice.
Yeah.
So all right. So what I want to do is, if anyone has any questions on that, or if you have any experience doing that, I want to bring you on a hot seat and kind of talk to you. Or even if you don't have a problem with it, you just want to tell your experience about it. We got almost 300 people on. I know a lot of people were on those webinars. So if you want to come on a hot seat, just put it in the question box. Because listen, here's the thing: is either you listen to it and you haven't done it yet, right? So if you want to start being able to do it, then let's bring you on a hot seat and talk to you and figure out why you haven't been doing it yet. If you started it, but you got confused and you couldn't figure something out and you got frustrated and you stopped, let us know. We'll bring you in a hot seat. We want to talk to you about it. Or if you've been doing it and you have been having success, let us know. So if nobody comes on a hot seat, then I'm going to just figure that we just wasted 2 webinars. So I mean, we got 300 people here. I got to have somebody because we need this feedback so we know, right, which way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here drinking wine for no reason, I hope.
That's it, exactly. So I guess, I don't know. I don't have any volunteers. So just look at it like this. If we did that webinar and we said, listen, guys, you guys can give me a call, and me and Dan are going to get on the phone with you, right? How many people would not want to do that? Even if they haven't even done anything even if they haven't started with the time blocks or anything. So,
yeah, I mean,
right?
I get to talk to Joe almost every day, and it's lovely.
Yeah, he's probably like, oh, this damn guy's calling me. So, all right. Oh, wait, we got some. I got some coming in here.
Yeah, we got some people now.
Oh, yeah, now we got some. At least you're not drinking alone, Dan. There you go.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Let me pick someone here. Let me just see. Ben says, On Stephen Floyd's videos, he recommends a Fiverr gig where they will personalize the outro to your logo and email. Is that enough to make them? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to personalize the outro, make sure you have a voice on it. Make sure you have a voice on the intro. I put an intro and an outro, and try to put a voice and try to change the music up a little bit. Because what you're changing on your video is the wave frequency. Because YouTube's not watching your video, but they're listening to it. So you want to change that wave track. All right, so who should we bring on, Dan?
Let's see here. There's no context to these hot seats. They just said hot seat, so it's just anyone will do it, I suppose.
I guess so. Let's bring on Ryan Ramos.
All right.
So he's the first one. So Ryan, we're going to be asking you about these time blocks and stuff. So don't be asking me about what color socks Dan is wearing.
The answer is none.
None.
Hey, what's up,
Ryan?
guys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is my first time ever to be on a hot seat.
Hey, Ryan.
Oh, fantastic. Where are you calling from?
Midland, Texas.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I do have a question about some time blocks. I mean, I have been doing them.
All right. What is it?
So, I've been doing, so you said you recommended 4 time blocks, 6 hours in each. And, I guess my question is, like, I don't really have, like family, but I do, like, really need, like, some money. So do you think, like, I should, like, divide the family time into like 3 blocks, so it's just like sleep, work, and then study?
Well, yeah, I mean, I use my time blocks a little different, so I use half an hour time blocks, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's a half an hour, and then I usually do it for work-wise. I don't schedule in like family time. I mean, Dan, do you do that? Like, do you schedule?
No, not really. I just try to do the same as you, really, half-hour time blocks, but I'll go as long as an hour before I take a break. I always try to take breaks, like a 20-minute break every hour. It's like the worst-case scenario. It's the beauty of being able to work at home. You work a little bit, work a half-hour, then take a break, get off. You do that, 5-6 times, and you're done for the day. And then you don't have to schedule family time because most of your day is whatever you want to make of it.
Right.
I try not to stress about it too much. Once you get into a position eventually where you don't, I don't hate doing these time blocks or anything like that. It's not like it's work to me. I enjoy doing this. Sometimes my fiance is like, "Can we go? Do you have to work right now?" I'm like, "I don't have to do anything. I just enjoy it." So I don't think you should look at scheduling family time like it's part of a time block. That's my opinion, though. I think you should just schedule the work that you need to get done. Make sure you take breaks, though. Don't just work straight through. So I don't know what those breaks look like for you, but you have to take your mind off of whatever you're working on, clear your head, and then when you come back to it, you'll be that much more productive.
Okay, thank you. I'll definitely implement that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Dan. Like, the way I set it up is, and if you haven't, David, I think he's probably just posting that webinar now from last week, but watch that webinar too if you haven't watched it, because Dan shows how he sets up his Evernote and everything. But what it more is it's not like so strict, because if you take it and you make it too strict and it becomes a burden, then you're not going to do it, right? And it's just going to be another thing that you're trying to fit in, and it's not, and then a lot of times people quit because it becomes too much. It's just a way of organizing your day. And if it's like, hey man, I have to learn how to do this, or I have to set up this WordPress site, so what I'll do is I'll write down, okay, I'm going to do this task, and then I'll set up a few time blocks, and then I'll do it for 30 minutes, take a break, and then if I want to continue on, I'll do another 30 minutes. But the point is that 30 minutes, it's like everything's off. Cell phone's off, Facebook's off. All you're doing is working on that one task. And then So I mean, I would definitely schedule in your family time and everything else. Like not maybe as a time block, but just say from 5. You could say from 5 to 7, I'm doing family time or whatever. So because what do? You work. So you work and then you're doing OMG and you have a family.
No. I said I didn't have a family, so I was just mainly. So like that's like all I do. Like literally, I go to work and then I just come home and study OMG and then I just go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you can do that, and it's good to do that. It's to a degree, but you don't want to burn out either. I know when you're first starting out, you become obsessive with it, right? I mean, a lot of us in OMG have been the same way. Gregory's got a great story where he was, working at Bed Bath & Beyond and coming home and then putting in the hours, or late night and then waking up early and doing it again. And you kind of have to do what you have to do to get going, but on that same hand, just make sure you don't burn yourself out either to the point where you hate it. Because if you start hating it, it's going to show in the work, and you're eventually going to stop doing it, most likely.
Okay.
And the other thing too is you want successes. So, and that's where those time blocks are nice. The smaller one is you want to set a goal. You want to do a completion. So that time blocks is done. So if it's studying about how to set up a WordPress site, you schedule the time to do that, and then eventually schedule to create one. Then when you create one, that's done. Okay, I did that. What's next, right? And then you have that feeling of satisfaction. Whereas if it's just, okay, I'm watching videos and doing a bunch of random stuff, then you don't feel satisfied. So it's like, and you get less done. So if that makes sense.
Oh, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So you make small goals, which is going to lead to like the bigger picture, and so like these little victories are going to make you feel good and want to keep going.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's it. Yeah. That's the whole point of those small time blocks is getting reaching those little goals.
Great. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Bye, guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
All right. Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
I've seen someone mentioned you here in the comments. They said
say?
Dan is not doing any Snapchats.
Oh, man. I know. I've been bad.
I'm the only one snapping.
Technically, we do share Instagram, so, I mean.
Yeah. Some of those are Dan's.
Some might be mine. Most probably aren't. All right, I'm gonna up my Snap game. Every time I pull out my phone, my fiance, she's like, "What are you doing?" She tries to shame me. Snap shame.
Dude, it's totally not. It's the opposite. Like I don't do anything. Like it's hard for me to do that. Like I don't. Like there's people always taking selfies and always talking in the camera. Like I'm the total opposite. Like even my personal Facebook page, I don't have anything on there. So it's tough.
All right, I'm gonna step it up. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring my phone with me to. Like I said, I'm doing Mount Rainier. I'm leaving next Tuesday. I think I climb on the 4th and 5th, or 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I don't know if I'll be able to snap up there or not, but I'll do my best to snap until the elevation doesn't give me a signal.
Yeah. Where is that? That's in Mount Rainier's in Washington?
Yeah, it's in Washington, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alyssa says she saw the snap where the old lady was yelling at me. Dude,
That was a good one.
These people are crazy on Long Island. I mean, is anyone here from Long Island? I tell you what, I grew up here, but it is people are crazy here. Crazy. So, no, I wasn't gonna snap at her, man. I just want to get out of there. So, all right. So good deal. All right. So, good. All right. Well, let's get on it. Long Island, New York. Yeah. Bronx. George is from the Bronx.
Go Yankees.
Bronx. Yeah. There you go. That's where Gregory grew up.
Yeah.
Megan said she was born on Long Island. Yeah, it's an okay place. I've been spending a year and a half here. It's where I grew up, but I'm ready to roll out. So, all right. So, guys, let's get another hot seat going. Let me ask you guys: does anyone here have a family and having a real hard time balancing doing internet marketing, learning, getting started, working, and have a family at the same time. Does anyone have that problem? And if you want to come in a hot seat, just give me in the question box, say I do, or I want to come on a hot seat. Because that's something that I think a lot of people have. And the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get so overwhelmed or sidestep your family so much that years go, because it could be a couple of years go by and your kids grow up and they're like, what was your dad doing? Oh, he was behind a computer the whole time. So it's definitely a balancing act. What if you don't like your spouse? Well, you should probably leave them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I did to the first one.
All right, that's it, man. If you're hiding out because you don't want to talk about your spouse, so Lou says we're the that describes where I'm at to the T. So maybe we'll bring Lou on. Oh, let me see if she's on. Lou's on.
Them in here?
Yeah, she's on here twice.
That's confusing. She liked it so much she had to be on here twice.
She's got a backup going. Hey, Lou.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, am I pronouncing your name right? Lou?
Yeah, you are. Thanks. I totally didn't expect to be brought on.
You never know who's going to be on the hot seat. That's why it's hot. So, all right, Lou. So tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's, I don't know if it was you who was sort of summarizing it or if you were reading somebody else's comment or question, but that's definitely where I'm at, which is just, really just kind of struggling to make headway just because there's just so much to do. It's really hard to focus because right now I'm just focusing on prepare, but at the same time, I've got like this sort of burning pressure at the back of me going, I have to go out and market, I have to go out and get clients, and at the same time, I've got 2 young kids and a husband and family. It's really just trying to balance all of that, and I'm using the time blocking, which is amazing because it's helping me to focus incredibly well compared to where I was before. But at the same time, when I'm using the time blocks, there's 2 things going on. One is I'm working on projects which I can't get the little wins in half an hour. It's something that needs to take. It's taking me forever. It's taking me like a day to write a script for a video. It's ridiculous. And on the other hand, it's like I've got the time blocks and I'm working on it, but at the same time, I'm finding it really hard to just kind of focus on that and not think, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do the other thing. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it's not rambling at all. I'm glad you said that, what you said. So
Okay.
First of all, if you're taking all day to write a script,
Yeah.
one, you can totally break that because it's half an hour time blocks, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that you're going to complete your task in a half an hour. It just means you're going to spend 30 minutes of focused time on that. Okay? Then you're going to take a break for 5 minutes. Then you're going to do another half an hour time block. Then you're going to focus on that. And it could take you 2 days to write the script. But by putting it in those time blocks, your 100% attention is on that. And so what that does is it should stop you from worrying about everything else because that half an hour is committed to writing that script, and that's it. Okay? So if it's just I'm going to write a script today, then in the back of your mind you think I got to do this because the day is so open. But when you put in that half an hour, it's closed. This is what I'm doing. The second thing is unless this script is something that is so amazingly that you need, why don't you outsource it if it's taking you all day to write it?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing, right? It's sometimes I just kind of get caught up you know, I lock in and I commit to something, and sometimes I need to just sort of step back and go, what's the value in this? But when I started doing the videos, I mean, one, it came from the challenge that Cotton put to us, and when I started, I discovered that, you know, it was such an amazing challenge, because it really made me think about how I wanted to communicate my message and who I am, what my business is, and how, you know, how to synthesize that. And so I actually think it's really important, and I want to make sure that I really clear in my mind what it is, and I also want to do at least the first 3 or 4 videos where I'm in it and I'm talking and people can get to know me, right? So that's why I'm thinking it's, you know, that's why I'm kind of focused on it, and that's why I'm putting so much time on it, because it's kind of like, I view it as an important part, like an important part of the foundation.
Right. Okay. So you're talking about videos for now. What are these? These are videos that you're sending. All right. So this isn't a video that you're trying to rank. This is one of the videos you're sending to clients.
No, this would be a video that I'd try to rank. It would be a video about, you know, why do you need SEO? Why do you need us to do SEO for you? You know, how can SEO help you in the various ways that it can help you? So it's kind of like promotional videos that would be going out to clients. That would be sort of so that when people looked at it, they'd be like, okay, I know who this person is, I know what kind of work they do, and hopefully you'll give them a sense of comfort, like a confidence that, yeah, I want to work with this person, and they'd reach out to me.
Okay. All right. So, and you're saying it's taking you how long? A day to write the script, or
Oh
2
my
days?
gosh. Yeah, it's like taking me, well, so, but what I'm finding is, like, you know, it's so much about mindset and so much about being stressed, because it's, you know, thank God you guys actually, you know, sort of said, hey guys, you can take breaks, because then I found
Wow.
that, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I can take a break, you know. So then, you know, when I actually took a break and I'd go out and actually went for a bike ride and I looked around and I saw the sun and I saw people and like, oh, you know, there's life, you know, it's not just my computer. And then I came back and then I could knock it out. I knocked out like 2 in an hour, right? So I think it's just sometimes I just get so, you know, kind of wound up that it, you know, it's just hard to kind of just knock it out on schedule, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, try this half an hour with the breaks and see how that does. And Dan, I mean, look, I'm not the guy to ask about scripts, because if I have to write a script, what I'm going to do is I'm either going to steal it, or not steal it, but
Ask
I'm
Dan
going
to
to
write
look,
it.
yeah, or ask Dan to write it, or hire someone to write it. So I don't know, Dan, do you have any tips on, because Dan, you're pretty good at that, coming up with scripts.
I like writing the scripts just because, yeah, I mean, I like doing the scripts for my own products just because I'm very, you know, have a very deep vested interest in the product. You know, kind of like what you're saying, you know, you want to really put your heart into what you're doing. But I would ask you to do a little bit more of backwards planning in terms of what's your end state with these videos.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to sell clients on a generic video, I think it's going to be very difficult. If it's just a, hey, this is who I am, you know, credibility type video, I would just be as natural as possible in that video and call it a day.
Okay.
Because you're not going to close clients with that video. You're going to close clients with a direct proposal video that speaks to them about their website, not a generic video. So you need to think about your time in terms of money, right? So what is your time worth? When I'm writing a script, I don't feel bad that I'm wasting my time and I could outsource it, because I know that this script is going to sell the product, which has exponential profit margin, you know, as it goes on. But if I'm doing other things, I'm just like, why am I wasting my time on this? My time is much better spent doing something else. I need to either outsource this or, you know, find some other way to get over this obstacle. So just remember, you want a backwards plan from what's your end state, and how do you get there? Otherwise, you might just be spinning your wheels on things that aren't going to produce results, because you need to be, this is outcome-based results is what you want, right? You don't want to get it done and be like, well, it's nice and pretty, but it didn't actually achieve any goals that you really wanted. And all that time, although it was a learning process, could have been better spent doing something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, there you go. So hopefully I helped you out.
Yeah, no, I think for sure, like, part of me, I kind of look at it and like, am I doing this just to kind of procrastinate? You know what I mean? Like, am I scared to do the next step? So I think what you're saying, Dan, is really helpful, which is like, listen, be really kind of clear and sort of say, why am I doing this? How do I, is this actually useful? And if it's not, then cut my losses and move on and get somebody else to do it or find another.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen is giving us these amazing videos, right? Like I could just take one of those and, tweak it to make it mine and save, they're done, right? Save so much time. So, no, I think that's, it's good to kind of step back and look at it.
Yeah, just prioritize your goals and, time block it.
Okay.
Yeah, and like we said, like when I first started, man, I sure wish I had those videos Steve was making. Like
Yeah, for sure.
right, and you got and two is like you got to lay out and look at if you really want to get clients, what is the best way that I'm going to get a client, right? Am I going to rank a video and someone going to watch it and give me their business? That's wishful thinking, I think, a little bit. But you going out, meeting people, talking to people, getting in the community, getting with the small businesses in your area, that's where you're going to get the clients. When people see you and they meet you, and talk to you, that's, for most people, that's going to be the easiest way for them to get clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And how long have you been in OMG?
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. It's embarrassing. It's been over 3 months. I should be way.
It's not embarrassing. Don't be embarrassed by that.
You're starting a whole new business. Like, that's not. I mean, it's this is not like a quick deal.
Yeah.
It took me a long time.
Yeah.
You have to think about, like, you're starting a whole new career. Like, what career can you learn in 3 months and start making tons of money? So don't think you're behind.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think someone in here said it right. Irene says you're building a foundation. That's what you have to think about, like exactly like that. Is you're building a foundation. So that's what you want to do. And then two is when you organize it and write it down with the pros and cons, and like even like with client getting, okay, if I do this or that, or is it worth a whole day me working the script, or can I take Steven's video right out of the box and use that? And then that enables me to go and meet with people or go on to the next step. And you have it scheduled in these time blocks. Your mind's going to be at ease and it's going to be a lot clearer. And you're not going to feel stressed. But if it's unorganized, if it's I don't want to say regulated, but metered, then it's like, when is family time? When is this time? When is that time? Like, it's like every time is behind a computer, so you have to kind of schedule it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Actually, wow, 100%. It's amazing. And it's so funny because one thing that I did find is just, after the last couple of hot seats, just sitting down and just kind of writing out what I need to do and kind of scheduling it, it's just like a huge relief because it just becomes clear, right? And yeah, so I think I need to just kind of keep going back to the focus and what I want to achieve.
All right, great. Well, thanks for coming on, Lou.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, so let's go.
That's good. I mean, even we need like a kick in the ass sometimes because you get complacent, and you forget that you have to really grind out some time sometimes and organize it the right way.
Oh yeah, man. If you don't, well, the reason why I asked about family because when I first started, and I have a tendency to get like when I do something, I just get engulfed in it, and so there was a good lot of time where it was like I didn't spend any time with my kids. I was behind a computer the whole time, and thinking back on it, I didn't get. If I would have taken 2 hours a day or an hour a day, and just hung out with them only, shut the computer off, shut the phone off, and just hung out with them, it would not have put me behind at all. It probably would have put me ahead.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I'm working, I'm feeling guilty that I'm not with my kids. I'm feeling guilty about this. and so I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, like you make time for you don't have any kids.
No, I've got some dogs, got a
Your
fiance.
dogs, your
Yeah.
fiance.
But I've been in that
See.
situation before too, where it's when you're on the you feel like you can't stop working. You're just like, oh, I got to get ahead. I can't stop working. I can't stop working. You burn yourself out, and you upset your family, and you ultimately just become less productive anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's because I know there were days I sat there and got because I think you reach a point of saturation where you're just not going to get any work done. Like, have you ever gotten that?
Oh yeah,
Dan?
you just kind of reach your limit of I'm done being productive today. I'm just going to sit here and click from one tab to the next and pretty much get nothing done.
And it'd be even more frustrated. So
Yeah,
it's like, right? It's like that's where you have to break away sometimes, stop, and reset. And it's a big thing because if you have a family, we're all doing stuff. If you have a family, you're doing this for your family. But your kids are going to remember if you spent time with them, and it's going to affect how it's really going to affect everything in your life. It's going to affect your business, how fast you progress, and everything else. So, all right. So, all right. Let's see. Maybe we should get into this mind mapping stuff a little bit.
okay. Reveal the blurry image.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to reveal it as much as I'm just going to kind of go through it. It's
Okay.
in the end, it's going to look just like that image, but more beautiful.
Okay. Of course.
No. All right. Let me just see. I want to bring on one more guy here, which I don't know. He says is this guy Zach, but he was saying, I think he says, I would love to talk about the next step, scaling a bit from 0 to 10 or 15 projects and how to survive. So why don't we do this? Let's go through this mind map stuff because it's going to really help with scaling, and then we could maybe bring Zach on and see if that helped them out a little bit. So are you guys ready or what? So if you're ready, give me a hashtag, I don't know, hashtag mind map or something. Or show it to me or give me a hashtag. Make up a really cool hashtag. I'm real bad at thinking of hashtags on the spot.
I don't know. What was that one that Cotton had said earlier?
I don't know. It's probably not good. Probably dirt.
No, we can't use that one, I don't think. Hashtag mind hack.
No, all right. So, mind hack. There you go. Hashtag mind hack. So let's do it, man. We should get at least 100 of these, right? Because we got a lot of people on. So we should get at least 100 of these going. And all right. So what we're going to do is I am going to break out this mind map software, and I don't know how this is going to go. Hopefully it's going to go well. This is a mind map software I got, and you guys, this is just, it's called, I have a Mac, and this is called Simple Mind. They have a free version. I got the paid version. It's like $20. If you have a Windows, you need to buy a Mac.
Such a hater.
That's it. But other than that, there is something called free mind map or free mind mapping. It's a free mind mapping software you can get. Just Google free mind map and it'll probably come up. So this is not an expensive tool. And guys, I don't want you to get thinking you have to do this for everything you build or everything you do. You may have your own way of figuring out a process. Dan might have a different way than me. This is just how I do it. And what it is in your business, like we've talked about before, and Dan's talked about building systems. And a system is just of getting something done, right? Like Dan, you obviously have systems in your business that you built.
Right. Yeah. It's just a way to simplify it so you can do it the same way every time without having to really rethink it.
Right. And then you don't do you use mind maps much or no?
I do in a way, but not software. I kind of doodle on my notepad, pen and paper, and
Yeah,
I
I mean,
kind of do some flow charts that way, but not nearly as in depth as you do, I don't think.
yeah, and guys, you can do it any way that works for you. Don't think, oh no, now I have to learn how to mind. I mean, I'm just showing you a way that I do it to get a process down. I know what's a process. So let's pick a process. Tell guys, what kind of process would you like me to mind map? Just put it in here, in the Facebook group here. What am I in? I'm not even in the right one here. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Let me see. Hold on, here it is. Multiple pitches, 8-hour work. No. Hiring an outsourcer. Okay. Link building, maybe. On-page op, building a site, getting a mobile client. Okay, so starting that off. All right, these are kind of all random. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just come up with one because we're getting all kinds of random stuff and building. All right, so let me show you what a mind map. So when I'm doing a system, this is a system is a task. I make a system for something to be completed. And the reason why I do mind maps is back when I had my import business, I had to systemize that business so that everything ran smooth without me being there because I was handling everything. And every time something happened, my employees would ask me, what do I do now? What do I do now? So what I did is for every process, I created a mind map and a system. Even like what they did when they came in the morning, I had a system for them making coffee. Like, this is how you make coffee. This is what happens when there's only so much coffee left. Like, everything was so systemized that I went from working 12 hours a day to like 2 hours a day. So, but it's basically tasks. So one of the major tasks is building a PBN, right? PBN, right? So this is a process that you guys have to learn and that you have to do over and over again. The problem is when you first start out, you may watch a video, build a PBN, and then say a week later or a month later build another one, but now you don't remember the process or everything else. So I'm going to just show you how I lay it out when I'm learning a new task or something else. And you guys we can do a different one. I'm just using this one because I think it's what a lot of people can relate to. So guys, when we're doing our PBNs, let's say we just purchased our PBN. Okay, I won't go through that part of it, but say we purchased our PBN. It's sitting in our register account. What do we do now? What's the first thing? Let me see if you guys know right in the Facebook group here. Tell me, what is the first thing that you guys would do after you purchase a PBN? What would you think if we're lining out our tasks, and what would be the first thing you would do? Okay, get it hosted, video, host it, get WordPress on it, host it, get it indexed, DNS, hosting, install a theme. Make sure I create a spreadsheet. Very good, Dave. David Energy said he'd make sure he has a spreadsheet. Change it who is. Good, Jimmy. Yeah, that's right. Make sure you get a refund from Gregory. Penalty check. Get it hosted. Okay, spreadsheet. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's assume that we have the spreadsheet already. And I showed the spreadsheet, I think it was a Simulation Lite a couple of months ago. Let's make believe we have our spreadsheet set up. If you guys don't know what that is, I could show it to you later. But all right, so a couple of people got it right here. Fake name generator. So when I'm doing this process, it's almost like I'm putting all my thoughts, I'm taking them out of my head, and I'm putting them on a piece of paper, and then maybe I'm organizing them. So when I start doing it, if it's not in the right order, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to look perfect. This is just to get the process out of my mind. Whoops. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a persona, right? So We're going to hit here. So we're going to, because that's really, if you watch the simulation videos, that's really the first thing I do is I create this persona. And, if you want to get fancy with these mind maps, you could custom color like the first stage or something. I don't know. I haven't really nailed down how to do this real well with this software, so it happens every time. But so like I want to do a persona. So if I'm creating a persona, what's the first thing I need to do, right, on the persona? The first thing we need to do is get a fake name or get a fake so I need to get a fake person, right? Well, how am I going to do that? Well, one way is we're going to use the fake name generator, right? So if you don't know what that is, we go over that, go to Simulation Light, but fake name generator is just basically a site that you click, give me a name, and it gives you a name, it gives you an address, gives you a phone number, gives you all of that stuff, okay? So the next thing I want is, I show this on a couple other, so the other thing I do is I go to Zillow so I can get a real address, because the problem with fake name generator is the addresses they give you are not real necessarily. They don't exist a lot of times. So if this is a high value PBN, I might go to Zillow, and the trick I use for Zillow is I go in and I just look up for a place for lease, like a house for rent in a certain city, and then I just copy that address. So let's do yellow for this, and then let's do blue for that. Okay, so whoops, the same blue, man. This is a pain. There we go. All right. I don't usually color code my stuff unless I'm displaying it, but anyway. So here we have the persona right. So this is part of the process. Now, I might not always use Zillow, right? But sometimes I will. So I'm going to do every single thing I'm going to do to create this persona. I want to put down here whether I'm going to use it or not, right? So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to need for this persona is I want a unique profile image, right? So unique profile image, and then how am I going to get that? Well, maybe I'll use YouTube screenshots, right, for this unique profile image, okay? Then the next thing I'm going to do for this persona is, let's say I'm going to create social media accounts, okay? Now, like I said, it doesn't matter if I do this for every PBN or not, so I'm not looking at the question box, but I'm sure there's people asking me, do you do this for everyone? And no, I don't, okay? But I'm going to show you why I'm doing this at the end, so just be patient with me. So, Twitter, so, Tater. So what I'm doing is, I don't know, just put whatever social profiles you're going to create for your, all right, so we got all these. So now, when we look at this persona, it's going to depend on the type of PBN that I have, right? So if I have a low value, deleted domain, cheap PBN, probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to fake name generator, boom, and it's going to stop there, right? But now what if I have a $1,000 PBN or very high value PBN, one that's super niche related, one I want to keep healthy? Well, then I might go and create this whole persona by getting an image, by getting the social accounts, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Google, right? So I'm gonna need that. So that's why I want to document it and put it all out here. So after I get the persona, what's the next thing? The next thing is going to be the domain registrar. And let me pull this image over. This was actually the image that I had on there. And this isn't. This is just what I made before, and it's not. But I'll just run through it and show you some of the stuff. So, like for a domain registrar, well, if I'm getting a auction domain, it's going to end up like an enom or network solutions, which I don't want it in there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to move it to GoDaddy and Namecheap. Okay, then if it's in GoDaddy and Namecheap, what's the next thing I'm going to do? Right? I'm going to create the email forward, and then I'm going to fix the whois, and then I'm going to change the DNS. Right? So what are all the steps that I need to do when it's in GoDaddy and when it's in Namecheap? I want to document all the steps, right? All the steps I need. Now, this particular mind map doesn't have all the steps in it. It's actually, I made this for Greg when we were making the PBN video section. But you want to put it down, so I'm going to want to have all that down there, that what I want. Then the next is hosting, right? So we're going to create the hosting user persona. Then I'm going to create the cPanel. Then what am I going to do next? I'm going to do the WordPress setup. And then from there, well, how am I going to do it? Am I going to just use a random theme from inside WordPress? Am I going to try to, if it's a higher value one, am I going to do a better theme? Where am I going to get the content from? Am I going to scrape the content? Am I going to use article builder or different things like that? So what I'll do is I'll document it all right here on this mind map. So let me see, are you guys kind of following what I'm talking about right here? Is this helping you out, or is this confusing you more? Just let me know. What do you think? Is it?
It looks pretty good to me. I mean, got to get it all out on paper first, or on this mind map, before you can really systemize it. So yeah, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah, and you could do this for anything, right? So you could do this if you're if you're ranking YouTube videos, right? What's the process for YouTube videos? And then once you have this process down, what you're doing is, like, even say you're doing PBNs, right? And you're going to set up your time blocks. I'm going to set up PBNs, and you're watching Greg's videos on how to set them up. So as you're watching them, you might take notes, and part of your time block might be creating this mind map, because guess what? You're only going to have to create this mind map once. Really, I mean, you could edit it and doctor it up a little bit, but you only really have to do it one time, and that's it. And then you have your process down, and then when you go to create this PBN, instead of sitting there thinking, okay, what do I do next, and letting your mind wander. See, what this does is, once this is set up, it stops your mind from wandering, because it's like you trying to drive somewhere you've never been before. I'm sure if you know the neighborhood, you could just go down a bunch of streets and eventually get there. But if you have a map in front of you, then you know you're going to get there exactly on time.
Yeah, it's just like following a recipe.
Yeah, exactly. Following a recipe. Good example, yeah. So now here's the other thing. So in that post, I talked about how we make internal systems and external systems. So now, why do I want to write this all out on this mind map? Because when I hire an outsourcer, which I'm going to do as soon as I can to do these menial tasks, is I need to know, what is that outsourcer going to do, right? Well, I'm going to say, create a PBN. How do you want me to create the PBN, sir? Go to fake name generator. Okay, sir, now what? Change the whois. Sir, it's not working because I don't have an email, right? This is going to be your conversation with that outsourcer if you don't have things lined up and mapped out, and it's going to be a nightmare, and it's going to take you forever just to get him to figure out to create a PBN. But if you have this map, what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, to create a persona, this is what I need. So you take this and you make some videos for him, or maybe and make some process steps. So what I would do is I go, okay, so here we're going to create a persona. So the first video would be getting the fake person. Or probably the first one would be, creating the spreadsheet, right? Which, I show in a different, but anyway, we'll be creating a spreadsheet. would be created already. I'd show them how to use it, and then I'd be, okay, we're going to create the persona. This is what you're going to do, okay? You're going to go to fake name generator. You're going to get a name. You're going to go to Zillow. You're going to get the address, blah, and then show it. And then if I want to go with this scenario here, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to show them, okay, you're going to get a unique profile from YouTube. Then I would actually, in my video, go to YouTube, find a video, take a screenshot of the video, and then I would show them how to search it to make sure it's unique and everything else on that video and give them the exact steps to do that. Then I would show them with Facebook, Twitter, and Google, how I want them to create these social properties. And I would make an exact video to do that with steps. Now, I use Teamworks. I know, Dan, you use what?
Usually Asana or Trello. Usually Trello nowadays.
Trello, yeah. So Trello is real good for this, right? For creating those steps?
Yeah, it makes it super easy to organize everything by cards. Every card could be a task, essentially, and then you can attach photos to it, links, any kind of files and notes that you may have for it. Yeah, it makes it really easy to coordinate, and then you can tag people and say, hey, this is your task, or you can just makes it easier to communicate and see when something's finished. Yeah, and that's nice. And the nice thing about it is, like, you can go into something like Trello or any task organizer, and you say, okay, create the persona, and you could actually put these tasks down, and then stick your video right in there. And and once you have this set up, like, you can just put the link to your video in there. Then every time you bring on a new outsourcer, instead of going back and forth with them, you just send them over to that Trello, or you send them over to that system that you created, and you say, okay, just follow these videos and these steps, and create a PBN. And right? Yeah, I mean, I think that video that you mentioned is key. Like, that saves so much time when I first started out doing the PBN stuff. I mean, if you make that video and you make it very step by step by step, you don't have to do anything. I mean, I had it to a point where I gave my VAs a budget where they had a PayPal account I had just for them, and they were bidding on domains in GoDaddy auctions based on filters I set. I said, okay, if the domain has these settings, you're allowed to bid up to $50. If it has these settings, you're allowed to bid up to $100. So, I mean, I essentially outsourced the entire process, even from buying the domain itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could outsource anything. Really, I mean, with a reason. But if you set those parameters, like Dan says, then they can do it. Like, you're paying someone $3 an hour, $4 an hour. Even if you're paying them $15 an hour, right? And they're American, they're not going to know what you do. They're not going to do it like you do. So you have to set it up so that they can follow along with what you're doing. And and that's really one way to do it. You could. Can you mind map for onboarding a new client? Yeah, I mean, you can do that too. Oh, you want me to mind map it now? I mean, you can mind map everything. Here's what it is it's going to be your process. It's going to be the way that you're going to do something, the way you're going to think about doing it. And then you just lay it out there. So, Lou, what I would do is, if I was you, is I would just put out all the different ways you're thinking about getting clients, right, or onboarding clients. Put it down on paper, or put it in a mind map, put it in sections, and then look at it. Like, just don't say, oh, I don't want to do this, maybe I'll do this. Just put it all there. Once it's in front of you and you're looking at it, then you could say, oh, I'm gonna take this way, or I'm gonna combine this with this, and then the path opens up. It's so much clearer when you put it out there. Because if it's just in your mind, it's like it's just jumbled up, really. So, look, I'll show you a mind map I did. Let me find one of these if I have it on this program. All right, so, like a lot of times when I do my modules, we do them in mind maps, right? So this one I did with Greg, where we were laying out the how to do the mind maps. I mean, when we were freshening up the PBN course. this is that new video module I did. I mean, I show my mind map. I mean, this mind map is so huge. I gotta I gotta do it in sections. But it's the same way, like video creation. Like if I'm making modules for video creation, I know what I want, but I have to lay it out here, and then I can move stuff around and figure out, okay, what fits under what can I show? So what I might do is say, oh, okay, this is good, but I should move this here, right? And you kind of move it around, and you kind of get a map of which way you're going.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you do this, it kind of sucks. It's kind of cumbersome getting it all down and kind of fumbling through what the real proper system should look like, and it's going to take some refining the first time you do it yourself manually before you can really tell someone else how to do it, right? Because if you're still trying to figure it out, it's going to be hard to explain it. So you're going to have to do it a few times to really streamline the process. But once you do, and you get it done once, like Joe's showing you here, you don't ever have to do it again. Maybe you go back and refine it if if there's some new techniques and tactics to use, maybe you do something a little differently. But the general core of it should remain, fairly much the same.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like that. Yeah. Like you have to internalize it. You have to do it yourself, or else when you get an outsourcer, you're not going to know how to organize him if you can't organize yourself. So, like onboarding, I don't know, Dan. You want to build one for onboarding clients? I don't know. You don't do a lot of clients, but I don't do a lot.
No,
of
I don't really want to do that.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
No, that's cool.
All right, well, forget it then. I was like, damn, you're just a jerk. No. Like onboarding clients. All right, let's just say, what I would do is getting clients would be different. Onboarding would be another one. So let's say onboarding clients, right? Because after you got the client, he signs your contract. Okay, let's go. Right, this is where the rubber meets the road. If you don't have your systems down for this is what's going to stop you after you have 10 clients or 5 clients. You're not going to be able to scale because you're going to be pulling stuff out of the air and you're not going to know what to do, right? So let's do this. Let me ask you guys. When you guys get a client, right, what's the so you got your client, they say, okay, let's go, let's do it. What's the first thing that you're gonna do? So I got my client. He's ready to go. What's the first thing you need to do? Okay. So Elizabeth says, ask client for login. Pop the cork. There you go.
Great already, huh?
That's right. Yeah. I didn't even cast a check. Yeah. Okay. On page SEO discovery form. Get their website info. Right. Sit down and map out your plan. Very good, Sally. Pop your cork. Celebrate OMG Facebook page. There you go. You can do that. Buy a unicorn. All right. So client onboarding form. Right. So what I would do is when we first onboard them, we're gonna need their information. Right. I don't know, and don't hold me to this because I'm just doing it off the get client. Now, how so actually, let's do this. We're gonna get the client information, but how are we gonna get their information? Okay. So let's do this. So the first thing we need to set up is some kind of back and forth, right? So you can do this with a combination of, like, say, Google Drive. You can do this with a Google Drive, right? And with Google Drive, what you could do is you could send them a form, because you can make a intake form, right? Because you can create a form with Google Drive that has all right. Right. Yeah,
and it would be the same for every client essentially.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Now listen, and there's a lot of different options. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I'm not saying this is how you onboard clients, right? I mean, we're mapping out. We're brainstorming here, right? Because we want to create a system. So I get the Google Drive. I send the intake form. On the intake form, we're going to ask for all their logins, right? So we might have in there, and we may list them out, right? So what I would probably do is I wouldn't leave it to chance, and I would list them out, and I would say, website, login, right? And then I would say, okay, I want your cPanel or hosting, right? I want your where it's registered, right? Where your domain's registered, right? So these are all the things I want in there. I want all social media accounts.
Yeah. See if they have a Google My Business account already.
Right, Google My Business. So so from here I would list out what do I want, right? I want Facebook. I would have those options on there, right? No, I don't need this. I would have those options on there. Facebook, Twitter. Even if they don't have it, I want all this on my form or whatever. I want all this in one setup in one place, and then all their logins, right? And then
make them do the work. You don't want to be digging for this information.
No, not at all, right? Because here's the thing: because right away they want to get started. Let's get started. What are we going to do? And here's the biggest way to frustrate your client and for you to get overwhelmed is for you to be emailing back and forth. Email me this. Oh, email me that. The problem is that the problem is, I'm sorry, I had a brain lapse there for a second. The problem is you're going to be getting information back and forth. You're going to lose that information. You're not going to know where it is. It's just then you have to put it somewhere else. It's a real pain in the ass. Like, how many people have gotten a client and didn't have a system and went back and forth, and were like, just this sucks. Give me a that was me or something here so I know that I'm on the right track.
It's been me before in the past.
Yeah, it's been me when I first started, man. It was like, it drove me crazy, man. It drove me nuts. Like, that's why, like, I think a couple of webinars ago I showed my hit list of stuff that I wanted to accomplish, and one of that was create a business that's sustainable where I don't lose my life, because that's what was happening. All right, only a couple of people, I guess. Maybe we're only talking to like 4 people out of 300 that have this problem. That's right. But anyway, you see what I'm doing right now is I'm just thinking, right? I'm just thinking of things. I'm not making any solid, it has to be this, but I'm thinking, okay, what do I want? What do they have that I'm going to need that I want all in one place, right? So it's going to be all their logins to all this stuff, right? So whatever they have, and then on their social media accounts, I would list Flickr and other stuff, and then I would say other, like I would put a space for other and just have them give me whatever they need. Then the next thing I might want is I want all their pictures, right, and videos that they have on file, right? Because this is what you're going to need, right? You're going to need pictures and videos. So, like I said, you can either do this to the intake form. I don't know exactly how Google Drive works, right? I know I had my assistant make me a form before on there, so that's why I'm using Google. Do you use Google Drive much, Dan?
We use Dropbox more than anything, and we just, I believe we just send an shared Excel file inside of that Dropbox folder.
All right. So,
you can fill out all the information.
Right. So whatever works for you, you can use OneDrive. But so the next thing I'm going to want, I know I'm going to want pictures and videos for them, right? So let's think, what else am I going to need from them? We need pictures and videos. I need all their login information. Well, I need to know about their business, right? I need to know, if I'm going to create their Google My Business, if I'm going to create their Facebook page or edit their Facebook page, or I'm going to create content, I'm going to send a questionnaire, which I'm probably spelling that wrong, about their business, right? Right now, I'm not going to just send them a doc and say, hey, tell me about your business, right? Because they're not going to know what to write on that. And they're never going to send it back because it's going to be too vague and they don't want to sit there and write it. But if I send them a questionnaire with questions that they have to fill out, then that gives me a broad spectrum. Like, like when did your business start? When did,
And maybe you want to know if they did any SEO work in the past. I mean, you may have asked that in your discovery form, but if you haven't, then you'd certainly want to ask it now.
Right. Like, what have they done before? And then let's go back to here, see if everyone's still with me. Yes. Just awesome. Okay. Hard time getting all together. All right. Right. People expect you to create magic, but this is magic, right? To them, this is going to be magic. So let me ask you guys. I mean, you guys are doing client consulting. So if you have a client, right, you just take on this client, and let's say they're a dentist, and you're going to create social media for them. Maybe you're going to rewrite their homepage. What are some things that you're going to need to know about them? This is after, right? We already did the budget. They're our client already. They're our client right now, and we want information specifically about their business. All right, okay, ask them what they want to promote, right? We should kind of know that already. Great, Andrea. Services they offer, like what services, or again, that go along with Elizabeth, like what do they want to promote, or what are your services, right? What are your services? And we might ask them to explain their what are your services, and then we might even what makes yours different, right? Because we want to know their services and we want to know why they're different. And I am the worst speller. All right, service.
You can see that.
So I spelled everything wrong. I'm not even sure. All right, what makes your services different, right? So what are some other things we might ask them? All right, we should know what cities they're located, main customers. What is their perfect customer, right? Slogan, hours, right? All that stuff. See, everything you guys are writing down here in the Facebook page, that's what we want. We want to know about their business, right? We want to know about their hours, right? Here's the other thing we want to know. What is their USP, right? Who knows what a USP is? Is anybody? Right, their logo. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Draft knows it. Unique selling proposition, right? Unique selling proposition. And guess what? So this one's kind of tricky because they probably don't even know what this is. So when what I used to do is when I used to get clients, when I would sit there and ask them, did the client interview, I would ask them, what is your unique selling proposition, right? And they would have no idea, right, what I was even talking about. So what I would probably do is, I would say, okay, we need to know your unique selling proposition. I would make a little video explaining them what that is. Basically, what makes you unique opposed to everybody else and everything else. So we need to know what that is. We need to figure out what that is and everything else. So so the goal is what's going to happen when I onboard them, I'm going to have all the information that I need to hit the ground running, right? Because the next thing I'm going to do is guess who is going to have access to all this information on the back end. Who's going to have access to all this information? Who do you guys think is going to have access to all this information? Right, testimonials, very good, Andre. All this stuff is great stuff. Me, that's right, you. Right, Irene says the VA, the outsourcer. Yeah, Gregory Ortiz. In my case, Gregory Ortiz is going to have all this information. He's going to get the work. But that's right, your VA or your outsourcer, right? They're going to have all this information. So, yeah, so they're going to have all this information ready to go. So what happens is we get the client to, okay, we got on, Dr. Dentist, and let's start creating all his whatever we need to create. Here's all the information we need. Now, we're going to have obviously systems and training for the outsourcer ahead of time, so they know how to do Google My Business, so they know how to do Yelp, so they know how to do Twitter, so they know how to do all the social media, right? So all that training is going to have to be done ahead of time for our outsourcer. But once we have that done, right, then the client comes in. Now all of a sudden, this big stressful moment with this client becomes very simple. The client's happy because he feels like we're organized, and we're sending him a document. And with Google Drive, what the neat part about that is it's not, you don't just send him a spreadsheet. It actually looks like a form. It looks like a gravity form. And I guess you can create a gravity form on your site too with these questions if you want. But anyway, so these are some of the things that you would do. Like someone said on there, we want to, do they have testimonials, right? So we would do, so just whatever you could think of, you put in here and you create your form from there. So, so on and so forth, and then it goes right to your outsourcer, and then he has something to do. So, guys, hopefully this has been helping you guys. If you're seeing clear how to do the mind maps, how this stuff works, if you're still confused, let me know. What I will give you guys is this. It's not an OMG, and I don't know. David's going to put it in eventually. But it's, if you go to Joe Marfoglio/bonus, and it requires a login, but you have to put in your email. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not going to be, I already have all your emails anyway, so it's not like I'm trying to collect your email. I think I did this, or I made this originally. Let me put this in here, and I'll put it in the question box.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So I put this in. I made this originally. I think it was a bonus for Gregory Ortiz's Network Crusader when it first came out. So all you do is when you go to this page, just go to register, put in your name, phone number, email, whatever, and it'll give you a password. So I don't even know what my login to this is. So let me do this. Let me just say, do an email. I know it's not going to let me do it because I'm already in it. Anyway, let me just find my. Let me just take an email. This is an old email of mine. And let me do a password. And I think just give me a second, guys. Let me submit it. Let's see if this works. Okay, works. So hopefully this works. Let's see if it takes me in here. And you should be able to log right in here. There, right? So that's as easy as it is, okay? So whatever, all right? And then you can put a fake email in there. I don't care. If you put a real email in there, though, I am adding videos to this. So when it gets updated, you'll get an email that says it's updated. That's probably the only email you'll ever get from this system. Plus, David's going to be putting this in the back of OMG. I have to just resend it to him. So what this is it just shows you how I use Teamworks and how I set that up. And then I have some done-for-you videos. And these videos are basically on the mind map I showed you. about, like getting the persona picture and everything. These are actually videos that you could send your outsourcer and have them set up your personas and your website and everything else. Now, just keep in mind that this is geared towards Network Crusader because it was a bonus for Network Crusader. These are not videos on necessarily how to set up your PBN, right? Greg's videos are for that. These are videos as samples of how to make your own video. So it's really intended that you watch these, gives you an idea and a kind of a starting point to create your own videos. So you say, okay, I'm going to create my own videos on GoDaddy email forwarding and WhoisData and all that other stuff. You could download these and use these if you want, but I would suggest you create your own. So anyway, so if that helped, so hopefully that helps you guys.
That's an awesome bonus. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bonus that I made last year, and I don't know. So you guys can just get it, log in, whatever. It's here. It's all current. So it'll actually make that my map and this. It'll kind of start fitting together a little better. Yeah, you got it, man. Error 404.
Took quite a bit of work. Good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's the way I roll. No, I mean it wasn't too bad. So it wasn't too bad. So all right, and here's the thing you guys have to remember: if you do it, it's joemarfoglio.com, and the bonus has to be capitalized. If the B is not capitalized, yeah. I don't know why. I mean, you would think that if it was not capitalized, it would work, but it doesn't work if it's not capitalized, which is funny. And don't make fun of my site because I think the last time I updated the site was it was 2010. Well, 2011 was when I built this a long, long time ago. They'll be like, "Who's that guy right there?" That was me years ago. So, anyway, and there's really nothing here. This is just nothing. Lopez video. I don't even know what that is.
Ty Lopez.
Oh, Ty Lopez. I don't even know. I may have to take that off of there. I think I was scraping something for Mike. Okay, so anyway, so that's it. All right. No, this theme isn't WooCommerce. I don't even know what it is. It's like
optimized for us 1.0.
Is it?
That's what it looks like to me.
It's old. Like I had a guy make it for me when I first got started. Joe, is that you on the river in front of Tetons? No, that's actually on the top of Machu Picchu in Peru. So it's actually
very nice.
there's the ruins, and then there's an even higher plateau that you go up that overlooks the ruins, and that's where that picture's from. So.
It's pretty cool. It's where we're thinking of going for our honeymoon. It's going to spend like a month in South America.
Oh man, have you ever been to Machu Picchu?
I've never been to South America at all.
Oh, dude, if you go to Peru,
well, I mean, definitely want to do Machu Picchu. That's for sure.
Dude, and you have to be there at night. In the day, go there in the day. But there's a hotel right next to the ruins. Stay in the hotel and then go out in the ruins at night. Dude, I've never seen as many stars in my life as I did there.
Cool.
It's really, really incredible. So
when did you go?
Oh wow, that's a long time ago. It was before I got married, like 2003, 2002, or when maybe it was 2001. That was a long time ago. I went there. But yeah, it's definitely the place to go. So. Anyway, so let me do this. So the guy who wanted to know about scaling, Zach, let's see if he's still on here.
His question kind of was weird, though. It said, how do you go from 0 to 15? I don't think you can go from 0 to 15 until you go from 0 to 1. You have to do 1 first before you really understand how to scale.
Yeah. Can you unmute him? I can't. I'm frozen here.
What was the name?
It was Zach. Well, Zach, just if you're still on, put your name in here if you want to come
Zach
on.
Greenfield?
Yeah, Zach. I think it's the only Zach on here. Is there any other Zachs on there?
I don't know. All right, I unmuted him. Zach, are you there?
Yeah, hey guys, how you guys doing? Hi.
Good. How are you?
Hey, Zach.
Hey, hi. Yeah, I grew up around your neighborhood back there in Westchester.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, anyways, yeah, you're right. You can't go from 0 to 15, but for me, I kind of moved from doing content production over to this SEO with you guys.
Okay.
So I had other projects on the books, membership sites and other things cooking, and I took on my first sort of big SEO account a week ago and got a second one today. And so, yeah, it's just, and I totally have that exact thing that you started the whole webinar here with. Like, my 6-year-old kid is like, how come you're in front of the computer all the time? and I'm like, oh, well, that's where money comes from, and I got to work so you guys can play and we can have fun as a family together. So it's, and I'm probably a lot like you, Joe, in that I get immersed into something, and I'm like a dog with a bone. I won't let it go until I feel like I've got it mastered and something, and I'm comfortable and feeling like I'm having some success with it. So I've been pushing pretty hard. I quit my job. I was the CEO of a $3.5 million a year company, and I quit because there were some partner conflicts that I just didn't want to deal with. And I just basically sat down and started rebuilding everything and doing it, kind of on my own. And I had a staff of 20 people, so it's been a real interesting trip here to try to go and rescale, and do it with all these new skills and soak up everything that you guys have put together, which is totally awesome. So I don't know. I feel like just this week I'm a little overwhelmed, and I definitely have cut back on my family time, and I don't know. It's a lot. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. I mean, what you just went through right now with reminding me to systemize and create checklists and get ready to hand things off to other people is a great reminder, because I definitely had done that in the past with other projects. But there's definitely some conflict here because we're all still learning, or I certainly am, and it's tricky to feel like you're at a level where you can hand it off when you're not even 100% certain that what you designed is even really effective. So
Right.
I'm a little bit in the twilight zone on that. So any thoughts you have on that kind of stuff is great for me and probably others to hear about.
I would just say that there's probably a lot that you can't hand off right now, and that's perfectly okay. Do you feel like there's anything that you can hand off, though, that you just haven't taken the time to really systemize and pass off yet?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I have done that's been a really good success. So I had a gal, this is a kind of a cool outsourcing story. I have a gal in Serbia that's been with me every day for the last 7 months, working, tirelessly. And she's really was the graphic designer that I picked up on 99 designs, and I just absorbed all of her time. And now she doesn't work for anybody else. And which she's like a godsend, and I kind of am feeling at the point now. I've even been talking to her about, having a second person. But so what she does for me is she does all blog post graphics. She does all the publishing. I've taught her to optimize articles, check for keywords, do meta, do basically all the UMAX stuff. She pretty much handles everything. She can go into any site now and do all of Joshua's UMAX stuff and pretty much be, as good as I am or anything that we've learned. I've pretty much delivered her all that knowledge, and she's demonstrated that she's quite good at it because she's very thorough. And so that's good. So I've gotten that kind of off my hands, so I can now do, go into Ahref, and do research, do keywords, create, optimize content, and either segregate that for PBN placement and or money site placement, and then show her that and basically hand her all of it, and she will make it look great, publish it, and put it in all the right spots. So that part's been pretty good. She also does she's doing a ton of just site work and design work and stuff on money sites, where it actually needs to be done really well, because she kind of has an eye for it. It's not really my thing. I'm more of a, I don't know what more in the business side and the technical side. Yeah. So that's been good, but we're sort of at the tipping point. Like many of these people know through the Facebook thing. So I closed this Plaza project. They threw 3 websites at me. They own a health spa in there. The landlord owns like 3 businesses and all this stuff. So I'm okay. That's why I posted on there. Okay, the onboarding thing I definitely need to iron out, because I got like a fire hose of new information coming at me, like logins, and some shit doesn't even have a logo, and there's just like all this stuff. And I said, whatever, we'll do it, because it was a good play for me starting this out, because already the guy's introducing me and telling everybody that I'm solving all the problems of the world, So it's bringing me more conversations about new accounts. But it's a lot.
That's good.
And I'm
but you
not
need to
really,
deliver also.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to fall short, because you could land a deal and lose it just as fast as you landed it. So.
Well, like what happened to you? The similar thing happened to me, right? Like, so I went for all this time trying to get clients, and all of a sudden I closed like $100,000 in a month. Now, what that meant was I closed like 4 or 5 pretty big clients. And it was like that. And all the information came flowing in out of nowhere. And that's kind of why, and that's where I started creating intake forms and trying to organize it. I mean, it sounds like to me you already have somebody, a VA, that's already helping you out doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be dead without her, for sure. My wife would have left me, I'm sure. I'd be totally out. I'd be like working in the backyard, watching out for the sprinklers or something, because, it's definitely a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people on here can understand that, if you're trying to balance kids. And Joe, I wanted to thank you, because when you did the first Webby and you said you were going to like lose some weight for Orlando and all that, you kind of just wanted to get your health back, right? So the other part of this story is, when I signed up for OMG, I had just snapped my ankle on my dirt bike. So I was sitting here at my desk in a wheelchair when I signed up for OMG. And, and man, was I the grumpiest little, jerk in town. I'm sitting here, I'm in front of the computer like 14 hours a day. I got a busted leg. I'm normally used to, I typically ride my mountain bike 3 days a week. I ride the dirt bikes on weekends, and it kind of had a totally different deal. And then it all got cut because I got injured, and then I wanted to change my business. And it all happened at the same time. And my wife was like, she was like keeping a 20-foot radius around me, because I was just grumpy and all that. But when you the other day, when you were saying that on your Webby, I sent you that Snapchat, because the next day I was like, all right, I got to get my fitness back. So since that week, so I guess it's been 2 weeks, I've done 5 rides on the bike, been in the gym, at least 3 days. I bought a new 2016 KTM motorcycle, so that's coming in like about a week. So I'm going to get, sold my Honda just to kind of give me something to play with on the weekends with the kids. And I feel a lot better, so I just want to thank you for that, because I was totally out of balance. Like, I wasn't taking care of my body, and then, I was doing exactly what you guys were describing. I was working like 12, 14 hours. Like, I put the kids to bed at 8 o'clock, and then I'll do from 9 till 1 in the morning again, even after being here all day. And I'm lucky to not be working at another job during the day. But the downside of that is, it's 16, I don't know, I mean, that's probably an exaggeration. So definitely 12-hour days, But so I just wanted to thank you. That was a great thing to try, to remind everybody. And it changed a lot for me just over the last 10 days after that. So that was good advice.
Yeah. I'm glad I helped you out. And it does it. Yeah, the healthier you are, I mean, that's going to change the way you work and everything. And I mean, look, it sounds like, Zach, like you're right. You're right where you need to be. I mean, you're experiencing growing pains, and I think the biggest thing, like for me with family and everything, there is going to be that learning curve, right? And it is going to affect your family a little bit. It is, especially if people have a job. Like, I'm not saying you're going to be able to do this and have that life you had before. It's not gonna. You have to spend time, but if you consciously set these hours, I'm gonna just spend with my kids. It's gonna make the time working so much easier, and more productive. And then eventually it's not gonna always be like that.
Yeah.
But no, it's not going to be like that. But in the beginning, you're learning something brand new, and you're figuring out your systems, right? I mean, look, you're way ahead. You got an outsourcer, so you got to figure out your systems, what you're going to outsource to her. And as far as outsourcing, no, that's why you make the internal systems, you do it, and then you outsource it. Like when I get an outsourcer, here's what I look for, right? Is I look for, so say I just need one outsourcer. I can afford one outsourcer. I want someone who knows WordPress and Photoshop. If they know WordPress and Photoshop, I could show them everything else. Showing them how to build a PBN is basically just giving them what you want done. And that, you could build 2 PBNs and be able to create a system and outsource it, right? And then making Google My Business, Twitter accounts, Facebooks, all that stuff is basically you make one of those or 2 of those, you create a system, you have make it. I don't show them how to make the whatever. I just tell them, look, just create a header for the Facebook page, right? And there's certain stuff you can outsource, and then there's stuff you could crowdsource. Like what I'll do for some PBNs is I'll go to Guru.com. I have a writer, he charges me $3 an hour, and then he may create 50 articles for me. And those articles sit inside a folder. And then the outsourcer grabs them from the folder when they need them. When they run low, then my other outsourcer orders them. It's just a system of any business.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, just as some feedback for you, Joe, I mean, for a lot of us that are, say, in the first quarter of being in OMG, I mean, I'll tell you, my experience is there seems to be, there's a fire hose of information, so we all know that, but there seems to be a little bit of a gap between how, for instance, your back office works or Joshua's or Cotton's, and how you guys can, it seems a little elusive to all of us that are new, how you could juggle 30, 40, 50, or even 100 clients in Cotton's case, and he'll probably come back with that it's 130 something this week, but you know what I mean? So there definitely seems to be a little mystery on that end of it for what we see on the coming inside, if you will. So as much as you share on that really is a huge value as we move along from in that range between having 3 clients to 7 to 12 and really needing to get things organized and repetitive and get other people involved in supporting us. Because my deal is I'm way better out selling, talking to clients, and closing deals. This is not my thing. I'm just doing it because I need to know it. But I would be better time served out talking to people about their businesses and how we could figure out how to make them more money. That's better for me.
Right, and you need to build a foundation though. And back end is, I'll show you. I'm showing you this past webinars. I've been showing you guys what I do, and I have clients. I do lead gen. I do a lot of other stuff, but when I had a lot of clients, this is my back end, right? The first thing I did was I had an intake form, and then everything it went to the outsourcers, and everything I did had a system. Okay, everything I did had a system, and I knew that if a client came in, they went to, we have to know what citations are we going to get for them, right? Well, how do I get citations, right? So we have to do citations for the clients, right? So, or local directories, right? Which ones are we going to use? How are we going to figure out what we want? Okay, so what I did is I used Bright Local. And I trained my VA how to use Bright Local and how to grab the highest, see what the competition is using, which ones do they have, what are the higher authority ones, once they got them, then they went and they started creating them, and they had a form and a sheet where where we had our mandatory ones, and then they would fill in the ones that they created, and then some of them they would have to verify a phone number, right? You'd have to do phone verification. So we had a call tracking number, right? We would set up a call tracking number, and that call tracking number, it would forward to actually a Google Voice number is what we would do, and then so they could call from their computer, and so every step that was needed was taken care of. So I would think through, okay, if they're going to set up this directory, and there's going to be and they have to verify it, how are they going to verify it? Okay, we do the Google Voice, boom, and then we would just go on, and then I would run into problems, and then I would figure solutions, and that would be a video I would create, and that would go as part of the system. You're not going to know all of them until you start creating them.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'll tell you, like, having Angie, in Serbia working for me, I mean, I spent like a couple of weeks, like, having even an anxiety attack, like, about having somebody so far away with access to some of my things. It took me a little while to even get comfortable with that, but I can see that if you guys box it in and lay it out real quickly, if somebody's misbehaving, I guess you just clip them.
Yeah, I mean, you could use you can use like was it LastPass? But Dan, you do a lot with outsourcing, your back office, is it much different?
The only thing I would say is, you said like you have a lot of things kind of vested in with one VA, and that could be, it's good in the sense that you have trust and rapport, but it's bad in the sense that, I mean, there could be that off chance where that VA just doesn't log on one day, and you just don't know what happened, and you're kind of like, oh crap, now what do I do? So,
well, yeah,
I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, and it might not even be a negative thing. It might just be like, happenstance, like somebody gets into a car crash. Or,
exactly, and that's exactly what happened to me in one case. A VA of mine got into a moped accident, and I didn't hear from him for almost 6 months. Obviously I figured it out between now and then at that time, but I always say don't put all your eggs in one VA basket. So
right, so that's a conversation about risk management and spreading the load for sure.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
It's really like you just have to create that system, right? Like, I don't know, like if you rely, like Dan said, you rely on that one outsourcer, and they're gone, then you're screwed. But you have to. That's why no matter what she's doing, she should be working off of systems. Like, like if she's doing something, you should have a documented system for it, or you make her document it in a system. So if she leaves, you could figure it out, put her right in there. Right.
No one should be irreplaceable.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've definitely learned that one before.
Right. Like it's like this. Like man, we got a lot of comments here. All right. So you see, I've used this image before, and I talk about building a money machine, and your money machine is basically your systems and your outsourcers, because once you have them set up, you can do anything, right? Like your back office. So like my same outsourcers that were helping my clients, they're building my lead gen sites. And it was the same thing. They just followed the systems. But here's what your outsourcers are. You see what these are right here? These gears, right? They're just cogs in this machine. Now, if I take this little gear out right here, the smallest gear, it's going to stop this whole thing from running, right? But or if it wears out, and I have another gear, I just stick it in there, and everything keeps running. So this is your business, and these gears are your outsourcers. If one of them disappears, right, and you don't have another gear to replace them right away, your whole business starts running crappy or stops. So your system, it's kind of like this cog that allows you to put outsourcers in and out with the training. That's why the training. That's the back off. I mean, to me, that's the back part of the back office, probably the most important. I mean, what do you think, Dan?
Yeah, those videos. If you get those videos done, that's why we were talking about earlier how important those videos are. Where it's like, okay, I need to get another VA trained up real quick. if you have to do it and you have those videos and maybe some annotations along with it, you can very quickly do that and get someone else to pick up the slack. I mean, you may lose a little bit of time. Ideally, you have more than one VA trained up at a time on a specific task to kind of cross-train them.
Right.
But in the event that you don't and you still have that system in place, it won't take you too long to pick up the slack and get right back into business as usual.
Right. Yeah, we used to. I mean, it's a lot of this stuff is. I'm just glad that you guys are kind of reminding me. We used to do live streaming shows, so which I haven't done quite a few of those yet, but we did some, and we did a couple, and they were like, it was like on the fly. It was like being under full machine gun, like 50 cal. You just deal with it, and make it work. But then, I had an aha, like you guys are describing, and we went into a staff meeting and I made everybody list everything in Basecamp, I think was what we were using at that time. And I had it was like a whole day. We just sat there with like 8 of us and we listed every single step to make a live show happen, And at that time, I mean, we were doing $300,000-$400,000 per event. So it's very important that they not be, have problems, and there was redundancy issues and all of these other stuff. But we got it down to where then we were able to replicate it, and do a really, where it was very easy, and it also defined the timeline too for us. So we knew that sequence of actions took, 100 days, for instance, was what it ended up being. But we didn't really even know that before we actually listed it all out. So we were like trying to plan stuff. We were like, yeah, we can do a live show next month, and then it was like, what's it going to happen? So when we listed it out, we all learned. We were like, oh, there's no way to do these inside of even 90 days,
Yeah. I mean, to me, it sounds like you know what you need to do. It sounds like you have a business mind. You've obviously run a successful business in the past. This is really no different. So I think maybe you just needed a reminder of how important those little minute processes are in building these systems can be to, even an internet business like this.
Yeah, I think for me, and maybe for some other people on here too, it's like to try to conceptualize that in terms of people that are not, like where you get to have a staff meeting like I used to have on my Mondays where everybody's in the room and there's coffee and donuts, It's like to be doing it in this way where you're connecting people all over the globe and you're bidding jobs and all that. It definitely takes a little bit of getting used to, and I think, Dan, that you probably have to even be more precise because you can't communicate in the same way that you can when you're staring somebody in the eyes, across from a table, for instance. So there's a level of work I think that's requires a little bit more diligence, in my opinion, and then maybe that's probably where I need to close the gap for sure.
Yeah, there is definitely that degree of kind of helplessness sometimes where if you have a VA or a developer and they're not doing what you wanted, or they're slacking or something like that, and you just can't walk into the room next door and say, hey, what the hell are you doing? You can't come across the same way. So it's a different way to operate your business, and it's just part of the way we do things. There's no real good way to get it done except building a team and cross training, building systems in case those gears do start to fall apart, that you can just replace them.
Yeah, I gotcha. So I got another sort of maybe data question. So for every 10 clients, how many extra people do you think that you need to successfully serve that workload, Joe?
It just depends. It just depends on what you're offering, what the workload is, and I would worry about it when you get there. Like, you'll know when you need to do more. Like I think what you need to do right now is you need to get your systems in place, right? And you need to document them. And you can have staff meetings. If a lot of people, what they'll do is, and I do it. Like, all my outsourcers are from the Philippines, and so they all start at the same time. I like the Philippines because they seem to know English pretty well. They're kind of geared for almost outsourcing and the American culture. So they all they all start at the same time. So you can have all right, we're going to have a Monday morning staff meeting for them, which would be probably like nighttime, your time, 6 o'clock, whatever.
It's like Sunday at midnight or something.
It depends on if you're in. Usually they'll start work. It depends on if you're East Coast or West Coast. It could be like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. But you get them. You do a group chat on Skype, right? Get them all on Skype, or if you want to look at them, go on Google Hangouts and have a hangout. Here's what you got to remember: they're people. They're not like people sometimes view outsourcers like they're just software or instruments. They're real people, and the more you treat them like real people, the more they're going to work for you, the more they're going to do for you. And that's why you give them vacation time, you give them sick days, you give them, but also you want to talk, and the more they feel like they're part of it, the more they're going to give. So it's really very similar to what you've been doing, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good point you make, Joe. Like for me, just with Angie, I mean, like I said, I had to get my comfort level up where I was even going to start treating her like a human, because I didn't get it at first. I was like, at first she's just an email person. It was like emails came, and it was very, not, it's like the same thing you might have with like Verizon sends you an email. It's like, it's not, I didn't feel like I was building a working relationship. But then, I built some comfort there, and now I'm very comfortable with her. And, I've done some stuff like that. Like she wanted to go see her parents and get her cousin a gift or something, and I just shot her $500, and I said, go have a great weekend, And so that's definitely paid off, for sure, because she'll stay up on her time till 4 in the morning if she feels like stuff's not done,
Right.
And which is amazing. But that's taken some time for me to realize on my side that what you say is exactly true, that you can do meetings with people on Skype, you can treat them like humans, you can give them time off, and they're not like some like slave labor thing or something weird,
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just like your employees, right? I mean, what's a good boss, right? A good boss or a good crew chief or whatever you're doing is somebody who empowers their employees. Someone who dominates, criticize, and they come in there, they just disgruntled. They don't want to be around. They don't like you. They're not going to work for you. But if you empower them, you make them feel good. They're going to go the extra mile for you, and that's kind of what you want. And so, all right, Zach. Well, hopefully this helped you out. And
that's huge. It's a huge, great conversation. I really appreciate you guys' time and. It's also amazing how much you guys are able to give to us, and of course balance what you have to balance on the other end that we're not seeing. So I just really grateful, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody.
Yeah. All right, Zach. Well, let us know how it goes. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. I'll keep you guys updated on Facebook and all that. Appreciate the time. Great.
Awesome, Zach.
I'll stick with you for the rest of the session here.
All right, thanks. All right, let's see. All right, good. I mean, I think Zach's got. I mean, what do you think, Dan? I mean, I think he's kind of. I think he's right on his way. He's got the
right idea. I think he just needs some affirmations about what he needs to do to go for it. I mean, it is overwhelming when you're. I think the back end of how to fulfill the SEO and stuff is kind of what's kind of overwhelming him. So, but it sounds like he's got at least one good VA, and I mean, chances are when you have one that's pretty solid, that they'll stick with you. I mean, I still have like one of my originals from 2010, and he's pretty awesome. So eventually, at some point, you get lucky and get a few gems. I view VAs like two tiers. You have your core VAs that more about their families and stuff. They're like regular, real employees that you could see on a daily basis, and then you have tier 2 VAs, which are kind of more task oriented, like, hey, I wouldn't say they're obviously still people. You're not dehumanizing them in any way, but you don't know them as well, and they don't really care too much about your business as much as they care about getting paid, right?
Yeah. No, I mean I think that's exactly it. I mean I think that's a good explanation of it for sure. Yeah. All right. Well. That's it. I mean, I got a couple of comments here. Someone asks, Danny says, I've been struggling for 1 month because I put all my eggs in one basket with a VA.
Yeah.
So.
That's tough.
Yeah. Well.
Maybe that's what we were just talking about. It's, Danny, do you have any systems in place where you could train one up real quick or no?
Yeah. See if he comments here. Yeah, but at least put it in there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, or start implementing systems, because I think what happens is, I don't know, this happened to me, Dan. I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but when I got overwhelmed with all those clients coming in, I had already knew how to build systems for my other business, and I knew I had to do it, but I didn't want to do it because it was so much work. And I was so behind. I was like, man, I'm just going to keep working, doing all this stuff myself, and eventually I'll make the system. And I just kept getting further behind. And it wasn't until I sat down and made the system that stuff started going smooth. But I had such a block in my mind to even just stop and do that, because I felt like it was going to put me further behind.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just me, but.
No, I mean, I can see that. I mean, when I first started doing this, I was coming right out of doing being a company commander and stuff. So I was pretty anal about systems and being very task oriented and that kind of thing. But on the same token, I thought I could kind of fly by the seat of my pants on some of this stuff too, and not have to, I didn't take it as seriously as I should have at first.
Yeah, and it is. It's like you see this. Oh man. I gotta create this, do all this stuff, but in the end, you spend an hour doing this, or even if you spend a day taking care of this onboarding stuff, or 2 days, it's gonna save you months. I mean, you could just go to Fiverr and have somebody make you this form in Google Drive. Like, you don't have to make it yourself, but it's just it's gonna save you so much time. So don't be overwhelmed. Don't think you have to hire an outsourcer right away either. It's just something that that you have to keep in mind. So when you start building those systems for yourself, just keep in mind to start, and you get the system down, then outsource it to free yourself up. All right. So Danny says, I didn't, but I've been putting it together the last month. Yeah, Danny. So just keep doing that, and that way, if that outsourcer leaves, you're not screwed. I mean, that was the same thing. That I, even with a regular business, like when I had my business, I was so reliant on my she was like a, whatever she was, salesperson, reception, whatever. She was like my main girl that took care of stuff. If she quit, I'd have been screwed. I wouldn't have even known how to track my importing containers coming in, or the wire channel. Like, I would have been lost. So, so she made I had her make all our systems and everything else. So it's a commonplace with business, I think. And this is no different. All right. So everyone's saying this guy wants to come on. You got time for one more hot seat?
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm good.
So someone says this guy Jamie wants to come on. I haven't seen him post it yet, but I got a bunch of messages.
Other people are saying he wants to come on?
I guess maybe he really wants to come on. Maybe he's like,
that's interesting.
There
he is.
Let's see what he's got to say. Let's see.
Maybe Morris? Is that it?
Morris, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got it.
All right.
Hey, Jamie, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Good deal. That was a good hot seat.
Yeah.
I got a question here. I've been studying like a hound here ever since I got in, and I totally forgot that I've got a couple other things that I could be doing, and I have a couple of network marketing companies that I've been with for a couple of years, and there's product that can be sold, and pretty big commissions on them. Solar being one of them, and there's like six or seven different states that I can push it in, and that's it. But I've done some homework and found out who's searching for it the most, and I went out and bought some domains for those cities, and I'm wondering if I did the right thing, and I'm wanting to get your opinion on that. Like Los Angeles, solarpanels.com or something like that. I can't remember which ones they are, but anyway, there were multiple cities that had killer search amounts, people searching for the term, and I thought if I went exact match that I might not have to do as much to get it to the top, and I'm wondering what you think about that. And that's just one of them, just solar. I've got a couple other products.
So it sounds like you want to make a lead gen site, is what you're doing. So you're making a site where you can forward leads on to your company, or you're going to sell them?
It'll go to my website that I have with this company, and it'll go directly to it. They can, all they have to do is sign up to get some more information, and then they take over from there. And if they sign up, I get $500 commission. So I mean, it's.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. So here's the thing: you could use just. So what you're going to be getting into is more lead gen stuff, and then usually what I do is I'll create my sites I create now are all multi-city sites, one site. So if I was going to get into solar niche, then I would create a page for each city, and then in that city would then I would create a Google My Business, I would create Facebook page and everything else for that city. Now you can do exact match domains if you want. That's one way to do it. I kind of like the bigger site aspect because then once I start ranking a few cities, it starts adding authority to that site, and then it's easier to rank the other pages.
Right, because so whenever they come on with different cities and states, then I'll more easily rank that new state or city, whatever.
Right. So we did a webinar on this back in right here, March 17th. Okay, and so in this webinar, I lay out exactly how to set one of those sites up.
Good.
So you might want to take a look at that.
Okay. Well, I just wondered if it was better or worse to go. I know I've heard Josh Fletcher there say that he's done some exact match stuff and barely had to do anything, not even had to send a PD into it to get it to rank, and and it's still on top, and it's been there for a couple of years. So I was just wondering if that was a way to go or not.
Now here it is. I don't know if you were on in the beginning, but I'm going to give it's the same example I told you about two people trying to lose weight, right? Everything's different. It all depends on the keyword. It depends on a lot of stuff. Are you going to put together an exact match domain and it hit number one without doing anything? That's, 3 years ago, yeah, sure. But nowadays, it's a lot more difficult, and it also depends on the niche. For solar, you won't even hit page one, I'll guarantee you. If you hit page one for solar panels Los Angeles because you have that domain, I'll give you $100. You ain't going to hit it because there's too much competition. Because along with your business, there's CPA offers, there's everyone's in solar.
Right.
So you have to think about it like, what does Google like, right? What does Google rank? It ranks brands. So if you're thinking of doing lead gen, you start making your site a brand, and Google recognizes you as a brand, then it's easier to rank everything. Now, can it be done the other way? Yes. Do people do it the other way? Yes, you can. But I do it the way I do it because it's just easier. I've done them both ways, and it's easier.
Well, since I've searched every city in the world now and found out who has the highest searches, and there's a bunch of them. It probably is better off for me to go one site and just list cities as different pages within. Otherwise, I'll have to have 15, 20, 30, 50 different websites.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
building the brand.
Yeah.
What was that, Dan?
No, I said I think he's better off building a brand to avoid that, like you said.
And when I build a brand, I guess I should probably search for an expired or an auction domain first to see if there's something available. Otherwise, I can start from scratch.
I mean, you can, or you can just start from scratch. I mean, it'll help, but I wouldn't hold up, or you know, you know, you can, but if you could find one that's in expired domain in your niche with backlinks in your niche and everything else, then sure. But then fine. But if not, I would just create a brand name and then build the site out. Now, here's what you got to realize, that it's not going to rank right away. You're talking, you have to invest in it. When you do lead gen, you got to look at it like an investment and as a business. So it may take 6-7 months to rank, right? The days of ranking overnight they're not here anymore. So it may take you 6-7 months to get ranked, and then you may be like, man, this is hardly even working. But once you start going, once you hit that pinnacle where you have 3-4 cities ranking, then all of a sudden you're going to see your map pack stuff explode everywhere. You're going to put up a page and it's going to start ranking really fast because you built up that authority and that trust and everything else. So just keep that in mind when you're building this and when you're doing it.
Okay. All right.
And then watch that because I think in this hot seat, I lay it out, and I think I even show in a sample of a site, like how to set one up. I'm pretty sure I do. It's in that one or another one, it's Superior, I think, let me see, was it Superior Mold Removal? I think this is the one. No, I forgot what it was. It was something. Anyway, it's what was it? Anyway, watch that one, and it'll become a little more clear for you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Jamie. Well, let us know how it goes. Hopefully, that helped you out.
Yeah, and if anybody else wants to take part in that, it is a network marketing company. You can get in under me and pick 3 or 4 cities. I'll take 3 or 4 cities, and we can all, make some money.
So just get in touch with Jamie Morris. So
Yeah.
there you go. Hey, man, why not? That's all about networking, right?
That's right.
Right. So thanks for coming on, Jamie.
Okay, doke.
All right, good
Thanks.
talking to you, Jamie.
Bye.
All right, man. That's it. I'm about talked out. What about you?
Yeah. This is it's been a late one, huh?
Yeah, man. Now I'm wondering what that site was. I thought it was Superior. Oh, maybe I deleted it. I don't even know. Anyway, no, it is. This was a late one. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for sticking around. And Dan's gonna do more snaps. So.
Yep, I need to. I got snap shamed into.
Right, guys. If you haven't connected with us on Snapchat, I'm snapping a couple of times a week. And we have a I don't know where a Snapchat stuff is in here. I know we created some kind of thing where we had.
I think on our Instagram we have it too. If you go to our Instagram, Joe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's that Instagram again? It's
Rise and Grind Time.
Rise and Grind Time. So you can find it there.
Instagram.com/Rise and Grind Time. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. I'm trying to find it in here. Let me. I don't even know. This computer's acting up like it's slower than heck, man. Do that, and then, and the guys, so I know, so Zach was saying about the back end stuff. Hopefully this helped you out, and listen, just let me know if you guys want to see something else about it. We'll go over it. So I think the next step we're going to do is probably talk about, maybe we'll talk about how to find an outsourcer.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
How much do you pay for your outsourcers by the hour? Like $3 an hour?
Low level ones, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
$3 to $4 an hour is what I'll do, and then if they're really good, I'll go up to like $5.
Yeah, if they're like already pre-trained on stuff, maybe like SEO.
Yeah. Or if they could handle. No, it's not so much as they're trained as if they could handle. Hold on, if they can handle other outsourcers. So if they're more like project managers than task handlers.
Right.
So they handle a project. So those I'll pay a little more. I only
When you
really
can outsource.
yeah, well, I really only have one that does that. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
have like this huge amount, but I have one, and she kind of handles a lot of the stuff. Make sure people are doing what they're doing, or like that thing where if we're running low on articles, she'll go get some more articles and handle stuff like that. But you have quite a lot of outsources, don't you?
I do, and remember that well, you and I were talking about that business I just bought, that link building business, and I'm trying to change up how it's outsourced right now because it uses a company in the Philippines, which I think is kind of being overpaid for what the work is. So I'm working through that. Maybe I can share some stuff with how I'm changing that up and what I'm doing in terms of how I'm building a new task management system from scratch for it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I think with what you're doing, you got to probably create your own team or something.
Yeah, kind of do. And that's kind of what I'm doing with it, building a different task management interface for it. And essentially, I'm interviewing VAs right now to handle specific tasks. Like, okay, what can you do? Are you good at this? If you're not, what can you do? Or maybe I'll train that, send them a video or something on how to do a specific thing that I need them to finish. So that's all part of the learning process I'm doing right now. I'm hoping to get it done within, I don't know, by next month. It'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I like having one person that kind of oversees it because it saves, that helps out. So, and like I like
awesome to do that.
I like the Philippines too because they can get right on and be like talk to the people and it's like the same culture and it's not like I have a Pakistani trying to talk to a Philistine, or an Indian talking to it's like where there's such a gap. It's like everything's kind of together.
The problem is people like you, everyone's hiring everyone in the Philippines, and they're starting to raise their prices now.
Well, I don't know. And then, or what I'll do is I'll ask them if they have a relative or somebody they know. But, well, like someone said that on here. They says outsourcing is a bit harder because Odesk is gone. Whatever. Odesk is Upworks, and what they charge is 10% of the fee. You could find somebody on Upworks and just take them off and use something like Hubstaff, right? Like use Hubstaff.
Yeah.
To track them. Like I found people on Odesk and I said, listen, let's go to Hubstaff and I don't got to pay Odesk their fee, which is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't know what it is now. It was 10% last time I was there, but this is a great. It tracks, it pays, it does everything. This Hubstaff is pretty good. And there's a lot of places to find VAs. There's that. There's
freelancer. I mean, you can even hire people on Fiverr. Sometimes you can message them and say, "Hey, would you want to do any work off-site of Fiverr?" I mean, it's kind of some of them a little more. Now the policies are a little more uptight where they don't like to share information. But if you hire them for a gig, a lot of them will put their contact information inside of the report file, and you can contact them and say, "Hey, I can give you long-term work. You don't have to pay the Fiverr fees. You can work out like a bulk discount. I've done that lots of times in the past, bulk discounts on a Fiverr gig that I was normally having to purchase several times over, like citations or whatever. And, you work out a bulk deal where you're getting a lot, you're saving money. It's like going to Costco for backlinks and stuff like that. You're going to buy it. So if you can work out a deal, it's going to save you money in the long run anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and they're really just, you can find them anywhere. Like I know, Dan, you do that a lot, like kind of with the crowdsourcing. Like you find, like Fiverr is a crowdsourcing place where they're just, you get somebody and they're doing, right? They're making headers or they're making different, like I tried to flip a guy off of there and it didn't work. That one guy who was like, no, I'm not going to do it. But it's I've done it before. And then there's other places like onlinejobs.ph, like you said, Freelancer. There's all kinds of places. Yeah. So maybe we'll do. Let me see. Well, what should we do next week? Should we do more into maybe how to find an outsourcer, or
maybe that'd be a good one to do.
I mean, I think we went over systems enough. I don't think we have to do more.
Yeah, I feel like systems are kind of just do it at this point, right?
Yeah, like what are we gonna do? Show you how to make the videos? Log into this right here, and that bonus I gave you. And I'm gonna have David put that in the members area. Anyway, and then you'll
So maybe
see.
we talk about where to find VAs and what to ask them maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, would you guys like to hear that? Just give me a yes, or on Facebook, or a no, or whatever. Um. Yes. Sounds good. Yeah. All right. I mean, if you guys want to know the back office, this is the back office. There's nothing like extremely crazy. It's like, all right, we got a few yeses here. If there's something else you want to do, if anyone has any other questions about back office stuff, just let me know and we'll go over it. And that's it. All right, we got some. Can I send you a PM sent before, so maybe it got missed? Yeah, Andrea. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can send me a PM. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I miss them because I get a lot of messages. Justin's saying he's not getting your snaps. I don't know, man. If you want to get the snaps, just right here.
Follow.
Right, there it is. Anton DB, right there. Either put in the name or do that, or there I am.
Tomorrow's snap's going to be ridiculous.
When I had my beard. And then there's...
You shaved your beard completely now?
Yeah, it's gone though, man. My wife said I look too old with it. I might grow it back later. We'll see. Well,
yeah.
So it was a bit of a pain, but
I should have grown mine thicker for this mountain climb I got coming up.
Yeah, you should have, man. Look like a mountain man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snap. You know what? Maybe I'll snap. Maybe I'll ring and run on that lady tomorrow. She might call it.
So you're getting shot on your Snapchat. I want to witness a murder on your Snapchat tomorrow.
That's right. I'll be snapping my own demise. So that's it. All right, man. Oh, shoot, man. We went about 3 hours, so I'm surprised people stuck with us this long.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure my fiance's pissed.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, hey, Dan, thanks a lot. Everyone give Dan a big thanks.
No, I'm happy to do it.
A lot of great info Dan gave us, so thanks, Dan. And that's
Thanks,
it.
Joe, for the awesome bonus.
Oh, yeah, the bonus. So that's it. So there you go. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Night, guys.